it's not a bit. Chris Cody is just legitimately not there because he partied way too hard.
I know it's not a bit. I know that none of this is a bit. Roy's still there.
It's incredibly unprofessional.
But okay.
Yeah. Why is Roy still there?
Because he's incredibly professional. Because he's a professional.
That's incredible professionalism, what you guys are witnessing. Roy, what other thoughts do you have from a Vegas hotel room? You've been, you want to go to sleep. You've been up all night. The Panther season ended in an unholy disaster. Please make it worth our money here that you went to Vegas. Go.
Well, they were hurt. I mean, 4 of the players on the team have broken bones. I mean, and 2 of them played on it. Aaron Ekblad had a broken foot in the Boston series. He had a concussion throughout the playoffs. Like, he was legitimately hurt. And Chris Cody has just entered the room.
Wow.
And of course, Radko Gudas is hurt. Etu Lostarainen, he has a chipped kneecap. He can play. And Chris Cody's just falling on the couch.
Roy, Kachuk, I read, has a fractured sternum?
Yes, fractured sternum. He played with it in game 4.
Seems like not a good
Vegas,
idea.
have shorter hallways.
What?
Vegas needs shorter hallways. Can we all agree on that?
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Hey, Vegas, have shorter hallways.
He's right about that.
Can we all agree on that? Roy, you were interrupted by a partying Chris Cody wearing sunglasses. You look like Daytona. Roy, please.
I didn't brush my teeth.
Does he
either.
smell bad? Oh,
right
no.
now.
Oh, no.
I woke up at 6:05 in a panic.
Okay.
Like I'm late.
Roy, tell me about the smells coming out of Chris Cody's face.
You guys look like a Twitter fight.
He smells like a hockey locker room right now.
Oh,
it's bad.
Chris, did you have a Cosmopolitan last night also, or?
The irony of all this is that I actually left where I was partying. I could have partied last night with the Vegas Knights at Caesar's at Caesar's Palace.
Right.
And I went home to go to sleep so I could be here on time.
I've smelled that breath on occasion.
Stupid decision. Why would you do that?
Yeah,
it's horrible. I mean,
it's bad breath. It's a big man's bad breath.
I smell it.
And a big man's bad breath is worse than the average bad breath. Roy's already hungover.
I feel so bad for Roy right
now. Roy, okay, let's do this. Roy, this is what I would like to do.
Let's go brush our teeth.
No, I want to get value out of this commentary. What I would like, Chris Cody, is for you to consistently blow in Roy's face as Roy. Listen, from the side, as Roy tries to get through it with commentary about the final game of the season. Go ahead, Roy. Encapsulate the season here from Vegas. Close it out for us.
Well, none of us expect.
I feel so bad for him.
Roy, power through it, please. Roy, power through it, please.
Well, none of us expected the Panthers to make playoffs. Obviously, none of us expected the Panthers to beat the Bruins. None of us expected the Panthers to beat the Maple Leafs or the Hurricanes.
At least you got on the ice, though.
But at least I got on the ice. Yeah, they beat 3 of the best 5 teams in the league this year. Just can't get past the 4th one.
What a time. Have we gotten emotional yet? Can we all just hug for these last couple weeks?
Yes, they've been wonderful weeks, but here's some emotion for you. Paul Maurice, the Panthers coach, Stugotz. I was surprised by this a little bit. Perhaps I shouldn't have been.
Thank you for telling me who the coach is.
Yeah, you're welcome. We've got a lot of new followers in this realm.
I needed that one too.
Tony is also grateful. But Mike and Roy and Chris can tell you about his personality a little bit as he's loosened up in the playoffs and done a little more with the press conference and stuff. He's like maximum professional guy, and I'm not going to say he's a robot, but when I heard these words come from him where he paused for a second to summon the answer on how special this thing was. And this is a man who loves hockey, has been around hockey for a long time. These things don't happen that often.
Yeah, it was. We're going to play the entirety broken up into 2 clips because I thought it was excellent. The first one kind of tells you what some of these players went through on Florida, and the way that hockey coaches and players just talk about some of these injuries is pretty it's something to marvel at. And keep in mind, this is a coach that was calling his players on the bench effing bees like 3 months ago when it looked like the season was over.
What does that stand for?
And it seemed like they certainly made a connection through their toughness. And here's Paul Maurice talking about the toughness they displayed throughout this postseason run.
Well, obviously not the way that you wanted this to end, and this team has battled through so many injuries, and then you lose Matthew Tkachuk tonight. We just heard you in the presser talk about his fractured sternum. How hard was it for him to accept that he could not play in this game?
Oh, I mean, there's two pieces to that. The mental part of it not being there killed him, but he knew. One of the things about him, he's an incredibly bright young man. So he can assess his own game. He knew. We all knew that the hope would be that if we could get 5 more days of rest into him, there was a chance for Game 7. But he, he came back. He fractured that and came back and scored the game-tying goal, net front. And then you could see him in the next game trying to find a way to play with a broken bone. And I think he had the 3 best chances we had to score. He had 3 of the 4 for sure. But clearly he also knew that the other 4 guys on the ice needed a guy who could do other things. So he accepted it. He understood.
Well, he's not the only one that battled through this series. Gudas has missed time. Duclair has missed time. Montour has missed time. What can you say about the character of this group? Because they never seem to stop fighting.
Yeah. There's 1,000 stories in that room, Jackie, truly. Aaron Ekblad broke his foot in the Boston series. May have to.
Boston?
In the Boston series. Then he popped his shoulder out twice, passed a concussion test, and tore his oblique. And he drove that puck up the ice in Game 3 and kept it in. We scored, and we scored tonight. So we have some incredible stories. It wasn't actually this series. The vast majority of our injuries came in the Boston series, and they survived it. I mean, I love these guys. I've never seen a group of men. Radko got hurt here, high ankle sprain. That's a 6-week rehab. He missed a period. It was wonderful to watch.
It was wonderful to watch.
Jesus.
It was
the Boston series. That was 3 months ago.
Yeah, those weren't normal injuries. And at times, I'm glad that he highlighted the high point in Ekblad's playoff run. But there were times that he was very frustrating to watch because he absolutely played like he had a broken foot, a torn oblique, had to pop his shoulder in twice, and had to pass a concussion.
Excuses. If you're out there, you're healthy enough to play. Don't want to hear it.
Yeah, Radko missed a period.
Grateful.
But Paul Maurice has been around the game for a very long time, and his reputation it's like a curt one. And to see him grow and develop an affinity for a guy like Matthew Tkachuk, too, a guy that gets under your skin. Remember, he coached Winnipeg. Those were rivals with Calgary, and he didn't have an appreciation for Matthew Tkachuk's game. I don't want it overlooked that Matthew Tkachuk returned to the ice after breaking his sternum, got the game-tying goal in Game 3, and provided a screen that gave this team an overtime winner, its only Stanley Cup win in franchise history. Here's another clip of Paul Maurice from the very same interview on TNT, and you can see the emotion pouring out of him a little bit for a hockey coach anyways.
Well, it's been a hell of a run for the Florida Panthers, even though it didn't end the way that you guys wanted to. You've been around for a minute, Paul. What has this year meant to you as a coach?
You get cynical when you get old, right? Pro sports sometimes makes that happen. The game is wonderful, it's beautiful, but the best part about sports, for all the things that you want your kids to learn when you put them in sports, for all the great character stories, we're all in that room this year from training camp on. We're casual with our words sometimes, but that group of guys loves each other every day. The way they treat each other completely destroyed any cynicism I might have about pro sports. It was absolutely, I don't even necessarily feel that I was a part of it, but it was a wonderful thing to be a spectator of and to see it every day. So it was, at the very least, profession affirming for me.
It was actually cool watching Stugotz's reaction to that as someone that was a parent.
Loser! Not Stugotz. Loser! Second place! Loser!